I'm Laura.
And I'm Lisa.
And this is the Paid Media Playbook, where we talk to marketing professionals about their challenges, tactics, and triumphs.
Join us here at Double Z Media for weekly conversations about media strategies for marketing leaders. So my husband got this email on September 14th, not too long ago, that he is a member of a class action lawsuit against Virginia Mason for leaking personal data, personally identifiable information. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because the PII that they allegedly have shared is from tracking pixels. In this email, it calls out Facebook, Google, Signal, and the Trade Desk, many of which we work with very closely on a daily basis. I had him forward this to me because it blew my mind.
Yeah, I'm really curious to hear.
So we don't have a lot of information just from this. So I have the email that went out to everyone who qualifies to be part of the class action lawsuit. And then I also went onto the website for the class action lawsuit. And it's mostly the same information. There's not a lot yet. Basically, at this point, people have the option to opt out by October 30th this year. I'm sure once this actually goes to court, we're going to have some more information. But for now, all we know is that the alleged communications, I'm quoting, included medical-related information and when patients enter or exit the patient portal and request or set appointments. So I'm trying to think of how I would set up a conversion pixel with the Trade Desk, right? I would know when an appointment is set up, if that was my goal, but I wouldn't know who set up that appointment.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Now, would some rando data company?
Not in a personally identifiable way, or at least that's how they've always explained it to me.
Right. I know we're not lawyers here, but at the end of the day, we do work in this all the time. And it's my understanding. I mean, I certainly don't have access to that stuff.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, yes, somebody somewhere is keeping track of a cookie and some code, but that's all meshed together with a bunch of other people who have similar, and then we're just reaching out to that, quote, data segment.
How would you identify one random person out of that? Yeah.
I wonder if it's because your browser has a bunch of stuff on you and Facebook knows a lot about you. And then a tracking pixel may have this, and maybe somewhere somebody's triangulating that information and figuring out who they are to get first party data that's not HIPAA.
You bring up a great point. I could definitely see the argument that setting up appointments is a HIPAA violation. I don't know anything about HIPAA.
I don't either. I just cite it.
That makes a lot more sense to me than, okay, so here's the actual really funny part. And now maybe I'm being a little mean, but the email that was sent out includes what they're alleging the violations were, which includes identity theft, breach of duty of confidentiality, invasion of privacy, violations of some laws that I'm not familiar with because it's just a bunch of numbers, Washington Healthcare Information Act, negligence, fraud, concealment, and unjust enrichment. I'm sorry, identity theft from a pixel?
Exactly. I think this is fascinating because of healthcare and because of HIPAA. It's got to be tough. I know that when we've done things with, trying to think of what healthcare stuff we've done in the past that was specific to
We totally tracked clinic appointments.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But obviously no one's giving us a printout of first party data.
You can't steal someone's identity from this.
I feel bad for the agency because they're probably getting totally screwed right now or something. I mean, it's not them because they don't have access to any of that stuff.
No.
It's just, it has to be whoever they're selling or not even selling.
Yeah, you don't sell first party data. You use it. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you able to triangulate it? Are you able to take this stuff and say, hey, these people, because patients somehow opt into not obviously giving up their privacy, but opted in to be anonymous data, because that seems like a normal thing. Like, how would we not know how many people have lung cancer right now if we didn't track how many people have lung cancer? Or
right, but because it's in a larger group, it's anonymized, which is how supposedly the pixel data also works. Now, interestingly, they bring up Google, and I do remember personally being very annoyed when Google Analytics scaled back a ton of its information, almost specifically because of this. You have to have a huge data set in order for analytics to show you some of the more granular, like demographics information on your website users. That I get, because when you have a small enough pool of users,
you can kind of start thinking who that is. You can start deciding, well, there's 3 people that came from Bellingham.
Oh, I did that for one of my hobbies. I was like, oh, look, there's 3 views from my parents' zip code. I guess my mom is up to date on what's going on. You know, like that kind of stuff. And so you can't get even city information or any demographics unless you have like a certain threshold of website traffic, because they weren't able to anonymize it at that point. And so I wonder if that's part of the like switch over from universal analytics to GA4, sort of those models and how they lump information together so they can't get in trouble for this kind of stuff.
Okay, my brain's starting to hurt a little bit.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to know much about this for a heck of a long time. I just wanted to bring it up because, like, from our angle, it sounds absurd. Maybe there's something we haven't thought of. Virginia Mason is saying they've done nothing wrong, obviously.
Right. I mean, they would... It's anonymous. As long as it's anonymous. Tracking pixels versus retargeting pixels?
It doesn't specify.
Because tracking would just say, hey, this many people made an appointment. This many people clicked on this ad. This many people watched a video. These people did this. This many people did this, which is different. That's behavior versus sticking a cookie on somebody and following them around after with a retargeting to retarget them, where is somebody's actually keeping that data. They have to, because that's what a cookie is. I'm not a lawyer, and I just know that a cookie is data that gets married with other data so that they can determine habits of people, on and offline habits. They can marry these things together. Have you filled out car insurance before? Or you've been recently in an accident? So these different things. And I wonder if they're all with healthcare. It is a slippery slope, probably.
It is a regular pixel, like from Google Analytics. It keeps track of whether someone's a new user or a returning user. So they're still remembering things about you. But from our angle, like the way I access all of these platforms, I would never know that there was one specific person doing these things.
As software users. Right.
And that's the PII angle. Like, yes, we have all of this data, but it's not personally identifiable information. And so you're right. Is there a data company out there who has put it all together badly? I don't see how that's Virginia Mason doing that, though.
It's not Virginia Mason. You're right. They shouldn't be suing Virginia Mason. They should be, because Lord knows that if you're not in marketing, you don't know what.
This whole letter sounds like someone who does not understand what's going on, just trying to throw a bunch of spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. I will never get over identity theft, I think.
No, that's nuts. That's nuts to me. Then again, we don't know the ins and the outs too. But if it's just tracking pixels, you're right. It's just tracking pixels. It's not like, hey, everybody entered their name, address, and this, and we sold that to some company.
That would be completely different.
That's totally different. Yeah, that's selling personal data with names. And we're talking about all big, long numbers. Anonymous data. They're just anonymizing it so that we can use it for important healthcare decisions too, so that we know how best to get treated.
And what is this unjust enrichment? Virginia Mason was retargeting people who they think need their services because they've been to their website before. I don't think that fits my definition of that.
Well, it's unjust enrichment.
It's one of the things they're being accused of using these tracking pixels.
Enrichment.
That sounds like they sold it to someone, but how?
Yeah.
We probably won't know how this shakes out for a very long time, but I'm going to keep my eye on it. I'll probably, when there is some kind of verdict, want to talk about it again.
I'll also say, if there is anyone out here listening to this and they do know what the heck is going on and they're like, hey, I have all the answers. I know all about this. Please reach out.
Oh yeah, I'd love to know. Are the lawyers on this just rolling their eyes? Or is there some dark conspiracy? I have no idea.
So if you do know, reach out to us on our website or LinkedIn. Obviously, we made a podcast about it because we're fascinated with it. So, set us straight.
Well, these types of things usually get solved in like a week or two, right? So I'm sure we'll have an answer soon.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, well, we'll talk about this in a year when we already know the answer, probably.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to the Paid Media Playbook. Want more content like this? Sign up for our newsletter at doublezmedia.com/newsletter. You can also find the link in the episode description.